Okay, thank you so much, Nushi. You're welcome to the Thriving Beyond the Label event. I'm so excited to have you here. Like, it's so great for you to join us. So before we go, I'll go straight into just saying a bit about the community. So Thriving Beyond the Label community is a thriving and a vibrant community of parents raising neurodivergent children, and we don't call our children neurodivergent. We call them champions because they are champions. We have different age groups represented within the group. We have people that are as young as 4, 5. Then we also have people that are in their teenage years. And the whole purpose of the group is just to continue to support each other, to continue to encourage each other. We believe a lot in inclusion, we believe a lot in advocacy, we believe a lot in partnering with professionals. And all through the year, we've had the opportunity to, invite a lot of different professionals to talk to us. We've had a speech therapist come to us to share knowledge. We've had a behavioral analyst come to us. We've had someone talk to us from the educational sector, a special needs tutor. So we have different people coming to share their knowledge. And in terms of the diagnosis, some of the kids have an autism diagnosis and some ADHD, and some of them also have multiple diagnoses as well. And one of the challenges with most of our children is the communication, which is really why we felt, it would be useful for us to have you here. So just bear with us. I'm sure some of them are running late, but I'm sure that they will join in, and that's why we're recording it. So yeah, I'll just start to talk about the backstory. First of all, for the benefit of those that are going to listen to this, of how I know Nushi. Nushi is someone who is very dear to me. Like, if you're following my book social handle, A Champion Speaks, you must have seen my son playing the piano so beautifully. And our speaker today, Nushi, is the reason behind that. And I'm just so grateful that our paths crossed while she was in Cambridge. And I'm so excited to hear from her today. Okay. So, Nushi, maybe we should start with you introducing yourself just so that people can know a little bit more about you.
Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for inviting me today. So it's lovely to be here to reconnect with you and your community. So my name is Nooshin, and I'm a music therapist. Currently, I'm working in a specialist mental health hospital with adults and older adults, patients with complex mental health needs. And before this role, I worked with children with additional needs, as well as doing a research project supporting displaced diets, babies, and their caregivers, exploring how music therapy can support attachment and well-being in those families. So I met Eniola's family when I was based in Cambridge before I qualified as a music therapist. I was a trainee music therapist, and before then I was a piano teacher. When I trained and qualified as a music therapist in Cambridge, I just tried to use therapeutic skills, music therapy skills, as a tool to teach. To combine both of the techniques and both skills in facilitating um, my sessions and my piano sessions, and also my music therapy practice. Yes, and then I found a full-time job in the south of the UK, and I just moved down. That was a shame. I didn't have a chance to continue with my boys and girls. Um, yeah. So, but we stayed connected, and I am very grateful um, that I was given that opportunity to, and Eniola just trusted me in what I did, and I think we were both right.
I think you were, it was more you that was right and me that was, catching on. I will share more of the gist as we go. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Like Nushi is so close to my heart. If you've read my book, Inspired by My Son, A Champion Speaks, I mentioned her, but I didn't use her name. I used an alias because she's the one that made me really understand that both my boys actually had a very strong connection to music, and I felt her knowledge would be very useful. So let's go into the questions. So I have just a few questions to ask you, Nushi, just to set the stage. They would
Yeah.
invite other people that will have other
Hmm.
questions afterwards. So
Yep.
many people know about the conventional speech and language therapy. Many people know about behavioral therapy, but not very many people know about the benefit of music therapy. So can you just talk us through what music therapy is?
So basically, music therapy is a clinical and evidence-based profession that is used by HCPC registered music therapists in the UK and other board certified music therapists in other countries to achieve non-musical goals such as improving communication, social interaction, emotional well-being, and self-expression. Yeah, that is basically what music therapy is. We have a different aim in music therapy than other therapies.
Okay. So we'll go into it. I'll start to tease it out from you slowly but surely. No, she's very quiet, but don't underestimate her quietness. She's so knowledgeable. I mean, just add a bit of flavor. On this our journey, when you're raising children that have additional needs, you come across all sort of professionals. The people that you feel you're just drawn to because of their personality, and no, she's just that kind of person. I always used to wish all the teachers that are teaching my children, can they just be as patient as Nushi is? So she's so patient, and I just hope that a lot of professionals will learn from her. So going back to the questions, thank you for giving us a background as to what music therapy is. So for instance, now you have a child, um like a child like mine, and their parent just comes and said they've heard about music therapy. So what are the steps? What do you do? How do you assess that child to know whether that child will benefit from music therapy in the context of communication and connection?
So every music therapy process begins with an assessment phase. During this period, the therapist observes how the child responds to musical interactions, the cues, uh, rhythm, sound, and silence. Like if you have formal assessment period, you would look into all of these aspects separately. Assessment focuses on how a child engages rather than how well they play. So it doesn't focus on any kind of musical aims. It is just about engagement and about connection. The therapist considers factors such as attention span, emotional responses, sensory preferences, and patterns of communication or play. So from those observations, we identify whether music therapy is suitable and what areas it can support, such as communication, emotional regulation, or engagement with others. So it can also help in verbal communication, um, and because um, uh, our brain is stimulated by music, it can improve other aspects of interaction.
Mm, that's interesting. So, in the context of our community, which is primarily a community for families raising neurodivergent children, so if you, what are the kind of goals? You've mentioned communication. So,
Mm.
like, you have a child who is not using their words, for instance. So, can you talk us through the kind of goals and the targets you set for such an individual? I know that there's no silver bullet. It's not, it's not automatic, but just for the sake of the parents, just
Yeah.
how would the therapist know that this is definitely something that will work, for
So
this
yeah.
child? Yeah.
So with neurodivergent individuals, typically goals may include communication, like as you said, developing verbal or nonverbal or musical interaction. It can help with social engagement, like building awareness of others, turn taking, like with with conditions like autism, you can see that the person is very usually more isolated, and just the playfulness of musical interaction can bring them in a turn taking and shared attention. It's especially with children, it's very easy and interesting to see. Also, we have emotional regulation, like helping individuals recognize and manage their feelings. They can actually play their feelings through musical instruments. It can help with motor coordination, like improving rhythm, timing, because in music we have beats, and timing is very important, and movement through sound and rhythm. So basically, like dancing, clapping can really help during our sessions. We have lots of them. And finally, confidence and self-esteem. That could be one of the most important ones, because um, music therapy can create a safe space for self-expression and creativity.
Mm.
So these goals often overlap and evolve as the therapy progresses, but most of the time these are the typical goals that we cover.
Okay. So, like, what kind of tools do you use in a session? So, do we come and we see all sorts of musical instruments, or how does it work? How does the
So
session work? Yeah.
yeah, so I don't want to make it overcomplicated.
Okay.
It can be as simple as two people with one instrument, like a keyboard, or it can be a proper music therapy room with lots of instruments, shakers, drums, hand drums. Drums are really good for people. I mean, even I and any other adults I know enjoy drumming. So we can use a wide range of instruments, or we can vocalize. It can be as simple as body percussion. So it really depends on what you have, and I am very flexible. So it's not like if we don't have this instrument and that instrument, we cannot do anything. We need to be creative. That is why music therapy is one of the creative therapies. Yeah.
Fantastic. You know, and my assumption is because of your flexibility and most music therapists as well, they can also, these sessions don't have to happen in like a clinic setting. It can happen at home or school or anywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's good. So let's talk about stories now, practicality. In all the years you have been doing this, and I really do sense that you have a strong purpose associated with this because of how I don't know how to explain Nushi. I can see my sister is on the call. I'll bring her in as well eventually because I know she knows about you. what can you give any story that almost like depicts the essence of music therapy from anyone that you have either recently worked with, and how your influence or how your therapist's knowledge improve that person, it will be used. We parents, we like to hear very positive stories and positive outcomes. So if you can just share one or two stories, that would be great.
Yeah, so recently I have had a breakthrough story. I mean, a breakthrough experience with one of my clients. Maybe they are not absolutely relevant to children, but I would love to share that one first and then
Mm-hmm.
move to another children story. Um, so I have this patient of mine in the hospital. So when I first started my job, I was told that they were very um, suspicious, and they thought it would be very unlikely that he would ever pass the reception door, and on his care note there is nothing about his transfer because he didn't want to go outside of the hospital in under any circumstances. So after about a year of work with him, um, so he has a severe mental illness. But after a year of working with him, about 2 weeks ago, um, he just accompanied me to a different room. He passed the reception, and we had the full hour of music therapy, singing, dancing, laughing. And on our way back, he was very happy and his mood was very uplifted. So that was the most, I mean, exciting experience I've ever had. So I haven't been qualified for 10 years, but that was huge, a massive change. So people would bet that if I could ever help him get out of that room, uh, I don't know. I should follow it up. they bet they would pay me something.
I think you need to go get your money. They are that good.
And yes, and the other one, it was during my placement in Cambridge. I was my placement was within mainstream school, and
Okay.
there was an autistic child, 13-year-old, and unfortunately she had an ABA
Mm.
before our sessions, and she was almost nonverbal, very, very limited words she could use. And so she was most of the time on one-to-one. Um, and she would never, ever allow anyone to touch her coloring book or engage in anything that needed interaction. So after a couple of weeks of observing her, and we started playing. I mean, we started music therapy sessions for 12 sessions we had, and she just knew how to play 5 notes, C, D, E, F, G, all the time. She spent about 5 or 10 minutes in the room playing 5 notes, and she always said good, good. And I remember after, I mean, I had recorded sessions of her to show at the university with the university and the school's consent, the family's consent. By the end of the period, she was able to initiate something else. So she would she would play something other than 5 consecutive notes uh, on any part of the piano. She would explore other instruments, and she would take turns with me, making eye contact to see what is the next surprise to play. So that was, and that was another change. You know, I could see that change in music therapy session, but after all, I heard from the staff that she allowed people to help her in her coloring book. She could share that. I mean, sharing a moment of musical interaction in music therapy probably can. You can see how it goes beyond that those sessions, and she could learn something extra, not learn, she could feel something extra, she could do something extra. And in music therapy, I again emphasize that we focus on what people can do, because we usually, if our child or an individual in the family is diagnosed with a condition, we are always reminded what we cannot do about them, what um, uh, normal, not normal, but what common things they are unable to accomplish. But music therapy is different, and you can get things done, I mean, in a different way.
Beautiful. And I think I'm going to, at this point, also add my own story to the one of the positive, your long list of positive stories. I remember when, when you were started with, when I went to look for, I was just looking for, one of the challenges we had with my son at that time was focus. So I was doing research, to find out what are the activities that are recommended to improve focus. Because at that point, you could not really get him to sit down for 10 minutes. He just always, even though at that point he was using his words and things, he just could not sit still. So I stumbled upon music therapy. I was like, okay, music therapy. I said, okay. And I also saw something about learning to play an instrument. I was like, okay, this sounds really interesting. And I saw your profile, and immediately I saw that you were a music therapist and that you also teach piano. I was like, this is the perfect person to use. And from the very first moment that you came to my house and you observed him, that very day you told me that my son had a gift, that the way he connected with the piano. And I didn't understand it. And you were with him for about 2 years, almost 3 years, I think, that you took him. And in those 3 years, you made us understand the connection with his memory, the ability to do things. And in those 3 years, I saw a remarkable change in him. Like someone that we couldn't even get to sit still for 10 minutes is now able to stay properly in class, able to do virtual classes for hours and hours, able to sit down and do things for hours. His focus improved so much. And it was just by trial and error. So, and I think for me, I felt I needed to share that because sometimes on this journey, you almost feels like you are trying things, you are not sure. I went in there just thinking, oh, I just need something to help my son focus. And I came out now recognizing that he had the gifts, of playing an instrument, how we could leverage music, in terms of focus and things like that. And it's really just remarkable how something as trivial as music can do all these things, in an individual. And that's why I really wanted you to come and share your experience so that parents like us can begin to take this kind of things a bit more seriously. Because some of the things we discuss on the group is some of our children are even showing interest in music. Like we have someone who is an artist, and the mom has already recognized, she's on the call, she has also recognized that when he's drawing, he listens to music and things like that. So as parents, what can we do to kind of like, though we are not music therapists, but how can we begin to use music in our own homes for the benefit of supporting our children's communication and connection. If you can give us some tips on what we can
Yeah,
do.
yeah, sure. So the best way to support your child is by bringing music into everyday life
Mm,
in a natural and pressure-free way. So parents can include singing or rhythmic play in daily routines. You don't need any instruments. Believe me, you can just use pots and spoons to create that sense of playful music playing, and they can encourage turn taking and listening through sound games, like if I am you will get surprised. You will be surprised if you just try this, like if you try to clap your hands and just repeat that a few times with some gaps, with silences, or if you do a rhythmic pattern with your body, like a body percussion game, you will be amazed how they would copy you. And just try sometimes, give them the lead to do something and you copy them. So basically some of the techniques in music therapy that we use are mirroring, matching, copying. So basically, if the if the child is doing rocking movement, you can make a sound. You can sing to that rocking movement. There are many ways, or play something that they like, and sing along with them. So use music for transitions, such as bedtime or getting ready, to create predictability and calm. Like if they want to take a shower, if you find it difficult, just use music to encourage them. So when they hear that music, they know that, oh, it's time to brush my teeth. It's time to take a shower. It's time to go to school. You can create that, and you know, um, it's the routine is very important in people's lives, that it gives them the security and something familiar, because we all people don't like unfamiliarity.
mm,
So especially, those people uh, who who are who can be different. Everyone loves the routine. Everyone loves the predictability. So you can create that predictability through doing playing the same music. You can like the songs that the um, children rhymes, that nursery rhymes that they know, and you make that part of your life, and with and play with them, and follow the child's interest and let them lead musical play. You And you don't really need to say much. If you act, they would they would follow, and then you let them do something, and you follow. This can help people, help the other person, either whether it's your child or another person. If you allow them to do something, to play something, it gives them the feeling of being heard, being noticed, uh, which is really important. If they cannot talk properly, if they find it difficult to have verbal communication, do it through something else, like even in drawing. Uh, um, Follow their lines, repeat their lines, and see what comes next and
Mm.
you copy them. That can be used in any with any arts. So what matters most is the sense of shared connection, not musical ability. Small, joyful musical moments help reinforce what happens in therapy, basically.
Beautiful. Yeah, if in fact I don't even have any more questions to ask, but you've made me realize, some things that we do subconsciously, like with my second son, like you also know, you also made me one
Yep.
of apart from his speech therapist, you also told me, made me realize the connection he had with music. And I realized that for things like transitions that he finds really challenging, that's what helps us to manage. It's time for we allow him. It's time to brush your teeth. It's almost like it has become a game. He is when he's going to bed. He is. We now say bedtime. So and they do that in school. He even comes back from school and he's reciting pocket time finished. You can tell that's how they transition him in school and things like that. So it's really powerful that you are reinforcing this and so that we parents can also take note of it and also
Yep.
turn it into a game so that it's almost like they're finishing the line for you and things like that.
Yes.
So that's
Mm,
that's really, really powerful. Thank you for those tips.
you're
So I
welcome.
would I'll wrap up this part of the segment because I want to open it up for people
Hmm.
to have ask questions. So I can tell you're very passionate about this your work, you
Hmm.
know. So what keeps you passionate? Like what makes you wake up every day to go to work? What's that thing that drives you to do this work that you do? Meaningful work, if I might add.
So basically, it's a very rewarding job.
Mm,
Um, I always love to teach because I could pass something to another person to enjoy.
mm,
And in my work with both children and adults, I've seen music open emotional and communicative pathways that traditional approaches couldn't access.
mm,
So it's incredibly rewarding to see how sound, rhythm, and relationship, most importantly, can foster confidence, connection, and healing. So no matter a person's background or diagnosis, and each session is unique, and every small moment of connection feels very meaningful. So yeah, that's my passion to help people and see even very little improvements uh, or times of happy times of them when they just remind me. The other day I heard someone said Nooshin, and this is almost a middle-aged man. Um, he was very happy after the session, and he didn't used to play the guitar for I mean he used to play the guitar and then he stopped for a while and then he started again. He said, Nushin, remind me next time that we focus on what we can do, not what we
mm.
can't.
Beautiful.
And it was amazing, when people just get rid of all of their problems and they just are present in that moment and they share something with you in a human level. That's lovely.
Beautiful. It's because you have a pure heart. That's why you say that. And you see, me as a parent, hearing that this is your mantra, because like you said, we are so used to focusing on what our children cannot do. If we can just change that perspective to what we can to
Yeah.
what they can do, I believe we can see the beauty. Thank you so much for reinforcing that. So I leave the floor open. If you have any questions, feel free to ask Nushi. You can tell she's very approachable and always willing to share knowledge. So if you have any questions, you can just go ahead or put it in the chat and I'll read it.
Okay. Hi, hi, this is Shola. Can I ask a question?
Yes,
Hello,
go ahead.
Stella.
Hi, hi, Nushin. I'm just so glad that I'm attending this today, this webinar, because I'm about to have an EHCP review tomorrow, And I was just putting notes down, like things of what I wanted to present to them, of the extra therapies that like specialist therapies and that I had in mind to do with that for her. My daughter Zara, she's 6 years old, she's nonverbal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but she loves music because I sing to her. I think it comes from, I think, because I like naturally just sing with her with everything,
Yep.
bathing and everything. So they've noticed that even at school that that Dara loves to sing, like she's always singing.
Yep.
So I was gonna, so now that so thank you for this seminar, because now I can actually even propose to them that, oh, you know what, I actually want to do music therapy with her at home. Like I want to,
Mm.
because I didn't even know that there was such a. I didn't actually know that there was such, like people could use music therapy for as a therapy, if that makes sense. So
Yep.
this is really like enlightening for me, and it's something that I actually want to. Even if they don't like even if they don't approve for personal budget for her to be able to do the music therapy, it's actually something I want to explore. So it's not really a question. It's just like, to say, okay, actually, maybe my question would be, do you have anybody like? It said there's a body in the UK, like, is because I'm in Manchester, so are they? I don't know. Are there music therapists everywhere? I don't know. Do you know anyone in Manchester? I don't know. Does my question make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Yes, there are. I don't know the actual number, but there is the site BAMT, BAMT. That's British Association of Music Therapy. You can go there and you can find music therapists there. You can choose
Okay.
which area you
Yeah.
live in, and
Yeah.
you can probably find someone to help you,
Okay. Yeah.
definitely. And if you ever need it, I'm not very sure about other uh, music therapists,
Yeah.
but I probably advise you to look into the LinkedIn music therapists, HCPC registered music therapists. Um,
Okay.
I, I I can say I have more than 500 connections with music therapists in the
Mm.
UK, so there must be some
Yeah.
around Manchester area.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I mean, like we have a piano at home, and she goes to the piano. She just just randomly just plays. But I actually never thought of actually like going forward with actually getting a specialist, a therapist, to work with her. And so this is really interesting.
Yeah,
And Daniela, thank you for
You're
this.
welcome.
yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank
And
you.
actually, in because I remember that's you're right, because that's one thing I've been trying to get the school. Because what happens, some specialty schools actually have, because in my second son's special school, there's a music therapist that comes at different periods, like because it's like a shared resource. They don't have
Mhm.
one permanently in the school, so it's actually possible that there is a music therapist coming, but not all schools are communicating properly, so it's a good opportunity to also ask them um if they have one attached to their school and how often do they come, so you can start the
Yeah.
conversation that way. Then you can now
Okay.
also now say, because I know my son in his school has had in his e-diary, I've seen different sessions of a music therapist. And
Okay.
also when he started showing interest in the piano, I told them in school. So also tell your school as well that your daughter plays, she plays around with the piano, because since I told them, I noticed that they've started playing the piano with him. So some of this information you have to kind of tell them is a way of communicating the child's interest. Because I remember from the moment I told them, I realized most of his e-diary, I see him and somebody else playing the piano. So give them that knowledge so that they can begin to use that to build the connection with the child. So that information, whatever happens at home that is fruitful, share it with the school as well and with all the professionals. So yeah, so I've
Okay.
typed in the chat, I've put the HCPC registered therapist and the website that Nooshin mentioned.
All right.
Wura also put in the chat. She said Nooshi is a blessing and Kito misses you. Yeah,
No.
I'm sure she does. I mean, if Nigel should hear that I'm on the phone with you right now, he will bust here upstairs. So let
No.
me not tell him. Yes. Any more questions from anyone? Okay, while we're waiting for more questions, so I was just thinking, just like what Shola was saying about her daughter. So if you are now working with somebody and you realize that the person is showing an interest in playing an instrument, so what would be the next line of action when you observe something like that, maybe in a session?
Do you mean I?
Yes, you. Yes.
So it really depends, but I never postpone telling their parents or their family members or themselves that they have some talent in music. Uh, just because some people just don't know
No.
they have that gift, and it's such a blessing for anyone. I mean, for everyone. All of us have a music child in ourselves, that if we just happen to help
Mm,
it would thrive.
mm,
I would definitely tell them to explore playing,
explore.
like playing or doing something around music. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what a good therapist would do, just like what you did with us. I mean, I could not believe that just playing around with finding activities for focus has now made me realize that
Mm.
my son can play the piano. Just amazing. Okay. All right. In the absence of any questions, if any other question comes up later, Nushi, I'll send it across to you. So
Sure.
so that we don't keep you for too long. So I always ask all our professionals that come to share their knowledge with us, just to give us a word of advice. So what message will you give to parents like us going through this unique parenting journey? Some of us are raising either one child or in some cases multiple kids with a neurodivergent condition. So what advice will you give to parents?
So I would encourage parents. So now about just music therapy. Around
Mm,
music therapy, I tell you, I would encourage parents to be open to the experience, to
mm,
any experience.
mm,
Music therapy is gentle, flexible, and centered around the individual. Mostly it's person centered. So you don't necessarily get the same thing in each case. Basically, you you need to interact with each child or each client differently, and you don't need to have musical skills or expect a certain outcome.
mm,
It's about exploring
mm,
communication and connection in new ways.
mm,
So, in any way, apart from music therapy, apart from music, just let your children be creative. Just allow them to be and support them. Many children who find traditional therapies difficult respond positively to music because it meets them where they are emotionally and developmentally. So, my message would be allow the process to unfold naturally.
mm,
Music therapy is not about fixing,
mm,
it's about understanding, expression, and human connection.
mm,
Uh, so don't worry, just explore.
mm. I love that. Just explore. Just I'll give them room. Just explore.
Yeah.
And also to pick your brain, because I know you're a natural, we've talked, I don't know if you know anything about art therapy as well.
Mm.
Because I know there are quite a number of our families that have children that are artists. Do you have anything to
Mm.
say about the benefit of art therapy?
So as I mentioned before, music
Mm,
is under the umbrella of arts
mm,
therapies.
mm,
Uh, I think the creativity is the key,
mm,
the key important thing when you look into people's views. So it's important just to let your children to be in the moment, create something. That creativity allows them to improve, to develop in other areas. The creativity is the most important thing. That's why it's not good to tell or teach your children what to do, what not to do. Just allow them to create, to be creative, because that is the key to just thrive, to flourish.
Beautiful.
So yeah, through art therapy, that is with stuff, different objects, different textures. They just explore another aspect of life. It's music connected to hearing, connected to movement, and that is more visual and with colors, and it just uses another aspect of arts that they can use.
So they all kind of fall into so whatever our child gravitates to, we just kind of
Yeah.
walk our way around. And we don't have to be therapists to be able to at least allow them to explore, isn't it? Just buy the materials at home and give them the freedom. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Well, there's nothing else from me. On behalf of the community, I just want to say thank you. I'll just have a look at the chat just to be sure I've not missed anything. Thank you so much, Nushi. And as you would, yes, hello.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I was just going to quickly. Can I quickly ask
Yeah.
you another question? Sorry, Nooshin. I was going to ask. So, how do you know if your child connects with the music, the therapist you get? Like, is there some? Because I know that some therapists might not have worked with children with on the spectrum before. So, how do you know if okay, this is the right therapist for this child, or
So
not?
yeah, I would personally do some research about their background if they have previously worked with my children like mine. That is my first uh, instinct, and then like because some and see their experience, how long they have been doing that. And apart from that, there is an assessment period for therapists to see if there are some outcome measures like star outcome measures, which is widely used with children, especially children with autism, that can say if the child is relating, if they have resilience, if they are connecting through music. So they are all of these aspects are assessed by the therapist, and you can get full assessment after, I mean, 3 or 4 sessions at most. That what if your child is responding to that therapist, I understand it can be, just like talking therapy, when it takes time, and you may be wrong, or you may not connect through connect with someone in that respect. But we need, after doing some research about their experience, and just asking them which but how they would do it, and how they would make sure this child can benefit from music therapy. And you can say after a few after a couple of weeks, yeah, you can say if they can build a rapport with each other. Otherwise, your child would say, "I don't want to go." They even when nonverbal, they would show you there's dissatisfaction. So I have a relative of mine who just fell in love with their therapist. I mean, they sent their child and their son, and the son just fell in love with their therapist. and that improved the quality of life of that child hugely.
Mm. That's beautiful.
I
So
hope I
you will know when it's working. And I think
Yes,
for most of these therapies for children, the parent is also there, isn't it? During the sessions, or how does it work?
at least
Okay.
I know at least for the few first
First
sessions
sessions.
uh, uh, they can be like, but for example, if they are seen at school, that's a different story. Sometimes it depends on the child, it depends on the therapist. So I was asking someone with one of the boys that I was working with, one of the member of staff, to stay with us because he could because they could understand him better, so they had to spend longer time, longer periods with him, so I could probably understand better what means what, you know.
Mm.
It
So
can help.
so basically, Shola, what I'm sure you understand what she means. Like your if your child is happy to go back, that
Yes.
means the person is doing something right. If your
Yeah.
child is now not happy to go back,
I hope I answered it correctly. I mean, I answered your question. So, but I think you will understand after 2 or 3 sessions. Trust me.
some of us knew from the first session that
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
woman is a gem. You can tell,
Yeah.
and that motherly instinct as well. Even if they are doing it in school, you can get feedback from the teacher. Like
Yeah.
how does the child engage? So Shola, does
Mm,
that answer your question? Maybe she's on mute, or maybe she has been distracted. You know, our children can just. Okay.
I know.
Uh,
That's good.
all right. So thank you so much, Nushi, and for the benefit of those on the call, we're preparing for our March event on the 7th of March, and you'll be pleased to know that Nushi is going to be coming to Cambridge. So this is not the last time we're hearing from her. She's going to be joined by other therapists, the more traditional therapists on the professional panel. So there will be more and more opportunities to pick, to hear more questions, have more questions answered. So on that note, Nushi, I thank you on behalf of my community. Thank you so much for
You're
coming. Thank you for
welcome.
sharing your knowledge. And we cannot wait to see you back in March.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was lovely to see you
It
all,
was
and thank you for having me and for creating this space to talk about music therapy. I really hope
beautiful.
to see all of you in March, and maybe we have a small surprise. I have already thought about a small surprise in March.
Okay. I love surprises, so we're all up for it. Thank you so much, Nushi. Thank
Thank
you, everyone,
you.
for joining. Enjoy the rest of your
Thank
evening and your weekend.
thank
Thank you.
you.